Damn, you know what? I forgot how we did the intro.
Um, shit,
You yelling at the people.
basically.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, what's up? It's your boy Il Silk, aka Young Slide for Uvo. Yeah, we in there. And then we got
What's good? My name's Shy, aka Baleon, aka King Mighty on Twitter. Also, you know what I mean, known as Hate Being Sober. We also got
The energy wasn't matched, so I'm a little sad. But it's okay. We got Sunbae, the designated uwu.
Did you touch fingers when you did that?
Anyway.
I bet you she did.
I'm just saying, I don't think it really has the same effect if you don't touch fingers.
I mean, because then the funniest part about it, she says she's the designated uwu, and she doesn't talk like this. You know, the uwus.
Right. She don't her
I'm
R's don't come
none of
out as
that.
W's.
Anyways.
Uwu cause small, not uwu cause why?
I knew the height requirements, not the voice requirement.
Right.
Nah, you pull up
Sunbae.
Uwu, little motherfucker.
Hey, whoa.
Yeah, Sunbae has the temperament of Charmy from Black Clover.
Wow. You know what? That's so accurate.
And she'll say uwu and then chest bump you.
Okay, so we supposed to be talking about anime you can't recommend but you love anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this straight off, right? I only got one for this, right? There's only one that I could think of. No, I think I got two. The first one is High School of the Dead.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, when that shit first hit the scene, right? I was like, oh, this shit is gorgeous and brilliant. And then it was like, oh, well, you know, tits, cool. But then you really think about it, and it's like, this show is about high school students, and there's titties in it every opportunity. It's like, dog, I can't really wrap my head around it. But it's like, it's too late. I'm too far. I didn't watch it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was beyond the teenage titties. You know, at least they had the nurse there. The nurse was of age.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Least.
You know,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I was in high school when that shit dropped. So, you know, I mean, I was with it. Now, not so much.
I was an adult when it dropped, but you know, but that's neither here nor there, you know, because at the time, anime was still kind of like on the rise. It was getting popular, but it wasn't as popular as it is now, right? And you know, but rest in peace to Daisuke Sato. He was the mangaka for the show. They had went on hiatus because of, I think at the time it was the earthquake.
Yeah.
I think it was he went on hiatus for the earthquake because he was like, I don't think it's a good idea to do a post-apocalyptic or apocalyptic themed manga at the moment. And then when he started to get back to work, they said he had a aortic something. It was basically he was working so hard, his aorta severed from his heart.
Oh wow.
Like just you know,
heart,
it just
a heart valve just all right.
Yeah. You know, I just the artist, ironically, I think his name is Shoji Sato. He said that he just didn't think it would be right to keep it on because nobody would be able to tell the story like him. So
that makes sense.
You know, people always talk about, I wish it had ended. Do you know what happened to the mangaka? Right? You don't read these books. You just watch the anime. You don't read the books. Without the books, you don't get the anime.
Yeah.
And then when you get the anime without the books, it's like, this shit's mid. Unless you Shinichiro Watanabe, where, you know, he is a virtuoso at this shit. Also, the other one that I might recommend it, but not like wholeheartly recommend it, but I love Sekirei.
Okay.
So it's basically like people Pokemon, essentially. But when I look back at some of the themes in there, it is
a little messed
up. It's a little essay, bro. Like, you know, like you know, you in order to activate the Sekirei, you have to kiss them, and they are gendered Sekirei, and so you know, some of them don't want to be kissed, but if you kiss them anyway, you activate them. And I was like, yeah, looking back on this isn't great.
Yeah.
No.
But the fight scenes were dope. Like, bro, like it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I get that.
You know, it's just the time frames and the way people think change. So when you go back to look at some of the things that you like then, you know, all that stuff didn't age well. Now, I will say, like, for example, like Eddie Murphy Delirious.
You know,
Some of those jokes didn't age well, but I still find myself laughing at them because they were funny. But then you got like Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura, and it's just like, nah, that shit not flying in this day and age at all, bro.
Nah.
At all.
Nah.
I didn't really watch Ace Ventura.
That's truly me watching Def Jam.
Yo,
Most of those jokes you are not saying anymore.
You are not saying.
And I'm over here cackling, but I'm like, yeah, nah.
Like,
I think that's like out loud.
People talk about how much they love the 90s, right? But forget that the F word was used a lot in the 90s. The R word was used a lot in the 90s.
Yeah, man.
There's a lot of we were saying in the 90s that ain't flying now. Y'all don't love the 90s. Y'all just like the aesthetic.
The
like
90s
old,
aesthetic.
You know what I'm saying? Just go buy some Lisa. Just go buy some old Lisa Frank and shut the fuck up, yo.
I'm so dead.
I think a lot of old comedies don't hold up. I think comedy as a genre is dated. There's an expiration date on almost all comedy.
Richard Pryor shit.
But those were your two things. So
yeah. I'm up. Y'all go ahead. I feel gross already.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm done, man. We moving on.
Go ahead.
All right. So I think I have three.
Well, this should be interesting.
First one I'm going to say is an anime near and dear to my heart. It's called Get Backers. Get Backers is this old, like, dynamic duo, supernatural-esque, like how do I put this? They do odd jobs, and these odd jobs and sometimes include everything from saving a cat to taking down.
Somebody told me it was like gangster.
No, but it's can be everything, like, say, like they're saving a cat to they could be taking down a huge government, like a huge, like, government agency, like, and they do odd jobs. People come to them and they get their entire thing is to get things back. They get the things that they retrieve the things that you've lost. And the anime to me is absolutely amazing. I love it. I go back to it from the opening song to the ending song. I'm glued to it. The issue is that it is from a time period in which things were rushed. And when I say rushed, the story is great, but the writing is all over the place and the pacing is all over the place. And we're talking about, as a compilation of episodes, it's chaotic. It seems unfocused. That's why I can't tell people to go and watch it. I can't tell you to go watch it because at that time they were trying to spread some episodes too thin, and they were trying to spread too many scenarios too thinly sometimes, and and then they have to rush it real quick and get to the next thing, and it's just not cohesive anymore. For the time, it was lovely. Like, if you go back and watch it on like a Saturday afternoon, you might have some fun, but you're also going to feel that, like, chaos within from episode to episode. After Get Backers, I have one that's near and dear to my heart, and I still say that some people, specifically tabletop RPG people, should watch it, and that's Goblin Slayer. I can't tell everybody to watch it because it touches on some very dark some very dark themes, and I understand why that would be triggering for some people. I understand why that would be problematic. It's very like some of those things are very touch and go. They're not on the screen for longer than 5 minutes, and they don't talk about them every episode. You can continue, like, you can watch the rest of the show and the rest of the series and it not really come up. But when it does get dark and they do talk about some of these triggering things, and they do confront things like PTSD, I understand that that's not going to be for everybody, and that's okay. So, but if you're a DM, if you are specifically trying to DM a fantasy game like D&D 5e, and you want monsters to be monstrous, you want to really flesh out traps in dungeons and things like that, or you want your players to think of ways to get more creative, it's great for building that kind of creativity and making a gritty fantasy. And last but not least, I cannot stress this enough. I love this anime, and that's Kenichi's Mightiest Disciple, or Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple.
Now I would love to hear why you can't recommend it.
Sure. I love that. Why not?
Word.
I love Kenichi's. I 100% think it's awesome. But the first reason I can't tell people to go and check it out is because the anime actually didn't end well. There were years in between some of the episodes. There were years. And when I say years in between some of the episodes, I'm not talking about whole seasons. No. I'm talking about like, oh, here's 3 episodes this year. And then you see the graphics kind of change. You see people. You hear some of the voice actors have gotten older, and it stops becoming a cohesive piece after a while, because they're like, okay, we finally have enough, because they caught up. They ran into the issue of they caught up to the manga, and so they had to wait for the mangaka to continue making things, but they kind of bum rushed through all of the available content and then kind of rushed the mangaka afterwards, and that happened a lot at that time. There's also the point that, for the people who will feel weird about, some of the Eki hijinks,
Kensei Ma Sensei.
So not even that. I'm just talking about just in general. There's a decent amount of clothes being exploded on these high school girls. Like, you're good. They're gonna feel like people will feel weird going back to watch it. There's also the very real thing in which the entire time this kid who wants to get stronger, he's getting stronger, but some people are going to feel a ways thinking that, not thinking that, but saying or having conversations about like, was this kid being abused while during his training?
Yeah.
So if we're talking about Kenichi's Mightiest Disciple, it is a dated show. It was like Iki Tosin and some of the other like martial arts anime that came out around that time. That's what they did. The clothes exploded during fights on the girls. The training was hellish. And a lot of the time, the story, they tried to rush it in some places. They tried to, it once again becomes a error of compilation, and it just gets rushed in some areas. So, although if you grew up on Kenichi's, you probably love it. Nobody dislikes Kenichi's. It's great, but if it's something you've never seen before, I can't really recommend it.
You make a valid point.
I guess.
I mean, how many people are going to cancel Ma Sensei immediately?
Everybody.
Immediately. They are going to hang Ma Sensei by his Chinese slippers, bro. You know what I'm saying? Man, but they would fall in love with Tanimoto. You know,
Like,
the brooding edgelord.
There are so many characters. There are many characters I think that people will fall in love with. I just
Yeah,
think that there
it would
are
need to be remade. It would need to be
yeah.
remade.
It'd be very
Like
problematic.
I read the manga, and because I was just like, I finished it. I loved it. The OVA was taking forever, even though they did a decent job animating it at
Yeah.
that time. But you know, we never gonna get the end of that, and I would love to see what the end of that was gonna be like because it was a dope concept.
I finished reading the manga as well, and I
It
wish
was
that
like Tekken the manga without the family the fratricide and patricide that was going on in there. And
I'd agree.
Tekken,
I would agree with you.
yeah, that shit was lit, man.
I guess it's my go, and I don't even want to talk about it. But it's the first thing that came to my head, and it makes me sad that it was the first thing that came to my head. And it's Inuyasha. Shut the hell up. I already don't like that I'm here. Don't. Okay. Listen. Yashahime, the Inuyasha sequel, made me realize how trash Inuyasha was. Because they stuck to the style and like the plot line, blah, 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 of Inuyasha. And I was like, this shit is ass. So I rewatched Inuyasha and I was like, oh, this is the same thing. Because if you didn't grow up watching Inuyasha, you don't have the nostalgic filter that's on that anime. It dropped in like 2000. That was like 24 years ago. And it has a good plot on paper, but the execution of it was just ass. It's so ass. And I felt so bad. Like if you say the plot out loud, it sounds like heat. But then you go to watch and you be like, yo, what?
I mean, people
And I
would
love
like the
Inuyasha.
procedural. They love when it becomes a procedural. That's what people remember.
I'm gonna be honest. I never really got into Inuyasha because when I watched it, I was just like, this feels like a soap opera. This is for girls. This ain't for dudes.
Yeah. It truly couldn't have been put in any like category, even though it was. Like if you think about it, it might be considered a shonen. It might be considered a shoujo. On some days, it's a seinen. Like,
especially early Inuyasha.
I can't.
Just like,
I can't recommend it to anybody. That's the only one that I have.
Here's this titty
centipede. What'd you say to me?
Here's this centipede with titties, and it's scary.
See, you can't.
Stop it.
All right, this has been Sova no Jutsu with your host, Il Silk, Baileon, and Sunbei.
Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and comment if you want us to talk about your favorite anime.
Don't forget to share this shit. And y'all be cool like y'all be cool. We out.